We have swapped the order of the next two constitutional amendments. So the next item is 4.3.3, short title, WSFS Award. This is the version that's reported back by the committee created yesterday. It's moved to amend the WSFS Constitution for the purpose of eliminating the best semiprozine category while preventing works that currently qualify as semiprozines from competing in the best fanzine category by striking out and adding words as follows. That strikes out the entirety of section 3.3.11. It amends section 3.3.12 to replace does not qualify as a semiprozine with essentially the explicit criterion copied and pasted from the former semiprozine section. So it now says, instead of does not qualify as a semiprozine, says meets no more than one of the following criteria. Lists the 5 criteria which would have been partly part of the semiprozine definition. It also strikes out references to semiprozine in 3.3.13 and 3.3.14. 3.3.13, it changed the definition for best fan writer to any person whose writing has appeared in fanzines or generally available electronic media, striking out semiprozines, and similarly for best fan artist. The material which is neither underlined nor struck out is merely intended for context, and in fact, passing this does not restore the last sentence of 3.3.14. The last sentence was just deleted. This motion actually has no effect on the text, which is not stricken out or underlined. So that sentence is still gone. So we established a debate time limit of 20 minutes. Speech in favor.
I have a question.
Yes.
Todd Dashoff.
Yeah.
In 3.3.12, would the committee or the chair clarify meeting one of the following criteria, specifically only meeting the 5th criteria?
I second that one.
It's a criteria. It says meets no more than one of the following criteria.
And if the criteria that they meet is number 5,
that's the only one they meet, then they're still eligible for nomination.
The specific criteria. It says declares themselves not to be eligible.
Right. Oh, well, they can withdraw their work, so, I mean, you can't force a Hugo on somebody to do this.
That's no meaning. That's right. In context in which
You qualify by meeting the criteria. Order.
I think I don't see that much of a problem with it. Okay? If somebody would like to move to amend this, they can do so.
I move to amend to remove sentence 5 from...
Okay. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to delete item 5. Your name? Okay. The question on the floor is the deletion of item 5 in the list to be added to 3.12. Speech in favor? Speech against?
Speech against. As we reworked this in committee yesterday after the meeting, there was some question about this. It was deemed to be a not particularly harmful addition to the criteria, particularly perhaps not useful, as Don mentioned, because people can withdraw their work, but there was some sense that in some circumstances people may want to remove themselves from the fanzine category for a variety of reasons. They may not wish to be declared a fanzine because they see themselves as a more professional publication. They may not wish to disclose how many people they pay or what their press run is or other sorts of things. So the idea was, rather than allowing themselves to be nominated and have the fans potentially waste their nominating vote, that the magazine or publication in question would be able to affirmatively and preemptively say, no, not this category, please. That's why we included it. We don't think it creates any harmful effect, and that's why I speak against this amendment.
Speech in favor?
So I'd like to ask a question to the chair.
Speak.
Which is, I believe that the substance of the motivation for the amendment is not that 5 million of itself is harmful, but rather that it is difficult grammar with the meets no more than one of the following criteria along with the language of cod itself. And so the question is more numerical than otherwise.
I don't understand the problem.
Is there another speech against the amendment?
I have a question.
Okay, you speak against the amendment?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Mark Olson. The purpose here, I believe, is to maintain the parallelism with the current language. We all understand the current language. It's worked reasonably well at the semi-prozine category. If we get rid of it, we still want to have the same procedure, and this keeps it basically exactly as it is now for things to be removed from the fanzine category.
Each in favor of the amendment?
I think it's a better way to do it. Just make a grammatical sentence that says anyone may declare themselves ineligible for this category. But as it is now, item 5 is not part of an English sentence.
Right, that point has been made before. Yes?
I guess, Gary Egan, I have a question. As I read the proposal, this list of 5 are criteria to be included as best fanzines, not excluded. There's nothing in here that says that they are not eligible if they meet these criteria.
This is not really germane to the current question on the floor.
I know, but this is a question.
Too bad, sit down. The item on the floor is the motion to amend to delete item 5. Only comments relevant to that are eligible right now. We can, for example, defeat that amendment and then pass on to other business or otherwise.
The way it is currently worded with item 5 present, somebody who declares himself or declares his publication not to be eligible and does not meet any of the other criteria is considered eligible despite that declaration.
Just like now.
By removing it, somebody should be able to declare himself ineligible, and that would make him ineligible, period.
Would it not be possible to rephrase it as meets no more than one of the following criteria, and then 1 through 4, comma or something, or declares itself to be ineligible?
It would, and that's I consider to be foreshadowing a possible amendment to be presented if we defeat the current amendment.
Sorry, do this.
No, that's fine. That's a perfectly legitimate
Thank
strategy.
you. I would like to foreshadow a possible amendment. Of making the list items 1 through 4 only, and then continuing on outside the list and say or, which declares itself to be ineligible. And I trust that Mark or Ben or Colin or someone with a clue can phrase that appropriately. Thank you.
Actually, the Deputy Presiding Officer.
I would like to call the question on the current amendment so that if we pass it, we can proceed to the foreshadowed amendment.
Moved and seconded to call the question. All persons still wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Seeing none, is there an objection to calling the question? Hearing none, the question is called on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment to strike item 5, please raise your hand.
Sure.
Thank you. All those opposed? I believe that the nays have it, and the amendment is lost.
Nonetheless, we can make an
Okay, we'll have a request
Yes.
for a recount. We'll do that by...
No, we're good.
No.
We're good. We can fix it in the amendment. We can fix it. Okay. Go, now.
We'll just do, if there's no objection, we'll just do a standing vote this time, okay? All those in favor of the amendment, please.
Sorry, what?
I mean, we're in the middle of a vote. Wait, what business does the member wish to interrupt?
There is a petition among the Assembly that effect.
Okay, let me make this clear. Okay, there's a motion to delete item 5 from this list. And the effect of that would be to leave it so that only the first 4 items are there.
My understanding is once it's deleted, the portion of that is not perfect because it would be...
Now,
It's still could occur, actually.
We cover a different scope.
It's a different scope, so actually it doesn't make a difference. So,
Right, so let's get this over with.
So all those in favor of the amendments to delete item 5, on which the question has been called, please stand.
We'll fix it.
Okay, thank you. All those opposed, please stand.
There we go.
That seems to clarify the matter. The nays have
Don't worry.
the motion to delete item 5 as Mr. Wario?
Hi, what I foreshadowed before.
We have specific wording to be suggested by the parliamentarian.
I thought there might be.
Seconded.
I think.
Go.
parliamentarian wishes to remind members that the more witty you are, the longer we're here. Let me see here. I believe if you insert before the meets more, no more than, where the new text begins. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Earlier in the next to last line on page 4, if you were to make it read, which appeared in the previous calendar year, and which does not declare itself ineligible in this category, and which meets no more than one of the following criteria, and strike out item 5 from that list. I believe that wording says the declaration of ineligibility overrides, it goes by itself, and then you have, and has nothing to do with the others. That's the chance. I believe, is that the motion? Does that sound right to the person who's trying to make the motion?
Yes, thank you very much.
Or anything else?
We will have a brief pause while the secretary gets the wording precisely into the minutes. They're using.
May I suggest an alternate wording?
I suggest you come up here if you want to do that. What would we do? Okay, well, let's wait a bit here. Perhaps we want to. May I suggest that we postpone this item to later in the agenda?
There was a dislike of doing that.
Yeah. Well,
we could proceed to the graphic story one.
Well, we need to have the secretary's attention, I guess, if we're really going to do business. So I guess that. Is any objection? This is an objection. Will recess for 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay. Any objection to a 5-minute recess?
No.
Hearing none, we are recessed for 5 minutes.
And don't come up here unless you're...
Well, unless you want to come to me. I'm